Derek here. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, at Rev Derek Terry. So, yeah, life is crazy. I keep telling people that they need to be creating content. Progressive people, progressive Christians, spiritual leaders. I'm like, we're in the middle of a movement. We need to chronicle the movement. We can't trust the news because of what's happening. Those in power who are bullying juried, reputable news people into not reporting certain things. And as a student of history, I read a lot of nonfiction, and so much of the information that we have is because, years ago, people wrote letters and sent telegrams. And so there's literally a record, and people would file them away and leave their papers to someone. And then we have all that scholarship. And we're on the phone way more than they were. We text, we email, so we don't have those. So I'm like, make content, print, chronicle. But I'm not doing it. So I got to practice what I preach. And so, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's really hard because life is hard. I'm a big man. I'm poor. And yeah, life is hard. So woke up at the crack of dawn. Like I literally saw the sun come up. It was dark when I woke up. Showered, put on dress pants, button up dress shirt. Got in the car, drove 4 hours north to go to a colleague, a friend. His mom passed. I really wanted to be there for the funeral, and we worked together. We have a relationship, and professionally, we are, our organizations are looking to work together more, and it was really important for me to be there and pull up at the church a few minutes early. Starts at 11. I pull up at the church like 10:45, and there's no one there. And I'm like, what? I look at my calendar. It says, today, 11 a.m. And I look at the graphic with the announcement, and it is not today. It is a week from today. And I just laughed because I was like, okay, evidently God wanted me to be here today. So I went to Cleveland. It's where the UCC Church is headquartered. It's where the Open and Affirming Coalition where I work is headquartered. And I was obviously in like an old Black neighborhood. It was a, big old historic Black church. And that leads me to where I'm going. So I'm right now like obsessed with the Harlem Renaissance. I don't know if it's because I'm an artist, but I just think it's really cool that how this Renaissance, these few years, it's less than a decade, really changed America, changed Black people. It was called the New Negro Movement at that time. But anyway, The Joy Goddess by A'Lelia Bundles, who is the great granddaughter of A'Lelia Walker. I think great granddaughter. Anyway, A'Lelia Walker is the daughter of Madam C.J. Walker, who was, the hair culturist. And it was written by A'Lelia Bundles, who is awesome. This book is amazing. And A'Lelia was such a patron for the Harlem Renaissance. And so read that. I've always been interested in the Harlem Renaissance, but never taken a deep dive. So I finished that. And then after reading that, I read Zora and Langston, who were two amazing friends. It's a pretty good book. Amazing friends, leaders of the Harlem Renaissance. And so read that, and it whet my appetite even more. And now I'm reading, this is the big one, further along than this, but The New Negro, which is actually what the Harlem Renaissance was called at that time. the life of Elaine Locke, who was a queer professor, thought leader, really kind of cultivated, was a major leader of the Harlem Renaissance and cultivated as we know now. So anyway, reading all that, and I'm in Cleveland, and I know that Langston Hughes spent some time in Cleveland. And so I was like, well, if I'm in this black neighborhood, this old black neighborhood, he was probably somewhere around here. So I look up the address and it's 7 minutes away from where I am. So I'm like, yes. And I go to the building where Langston was, where he lived. He had an attic apartment. He graduated from high school there and he lived there in 2000. He lived there 1917, 1918, 1919, which is huge because that's when he's editing the yearbook. He's starting to write poems and jazzy. And this is like right before going into the Harlem Renaissance. And his most famous poem, A Negro Speaks of Rivers, published in 1920. So he literally could have been working on that poem there, probably in that apartment. There's a little garden next to it, I'll post the pictures. So that was super cool. Hung out with some of the staff while I was in Cleveland. Again, that was super fun. Drove back. It was a lovely day. The weather was perfect. Lots of thinking. I was listening to, podcasts and a book. So I like to read the books because one, see how stuff is spelled and that kind of thing. And then there's also an occasional picture, which helps. This is a big book. So I'll read it when I'm at home. Then when I'm driving, I'll listen to the audiobook and then stop where it's easy to find a place, like stop at the end of a chapter or something. So I was listening to the book. So what I'm working on, because of Harlem Renaissance, I'm just really like, what's the movement of the day? And I'm really trying to like chronicle what I'm feeling and experiencing as a Black queer man in 2025 with the hell that's going on in our country. So I'll show you a couple of things. Oh, before I show you my piece, this is a piece of art that I purchased. So friend and colleague is on a board for the school in Liberia. They do a big auction every year. They had an online piece. Someone donated this. And I don't know if you can tell, but this like resin, it's a Black artist. It's small. It was like the only thing that I could afford. It was a thing that I loved that I could also afford. Barely, but I bought it. It's looks like Tree by Emo. So I'll look for a link. But it's a Black girl throwing a baseball. I just love it. So they had like, you can bid or you can like buy it now, and I bought it. And I got it today when I was up there. So that's cool. This is one of the last pieces that I finished. It's kind of hard to get. But this is the National Museum of African American Heritage or History and Culture in Washington, D.C. And it's being whitewashed right now. The president had people go through the museum and they're flagging and taking out stuff that shows how bad slavery was or how bad, things are. And he's telling people to focus on America's brightness. I think we learn from the icky. And I'm just really upset. And I love this museum. I've had the opportunity to speak there before. I've been there several times. And yeah, so this is where I am. I'm also working on this Afrofuturism phase because I keep thinking, how do we find joy and how do we survive the malarkey, the bullshit that's happening right now? And it's not just art, but I have to continue to see myself in the future. because I know that there are people actively trying to erase me and people like me from the future. And so I find hope in the fact that, well, in the hope that that doesn't work. And so what does that mean? And so here's a piece that I'm currently working on. It is hard to see because these are just like undertones of any, but I feel like this light super bright to help. Yeah. So this is Mary and Jesus, but it's like Afrofuturist. So yeah, this is going to be like, dark sky situation. Um working on that. Also my iPad. So yeah, I there's just something powerful about, when we think about like shows like, you remember the Jetsons, which was about the future. And if you watch the Jetsons, there were no black people there. So what what were people thinking in the 1960s when the Jetsons came out? It's like, oh yeah, we don't need them in the future. So it's really important that we see ourselves in the future. And it was really important that we see joy. So did this in Procreate. So yeah, um, so much joy. This is also going to be my Christmas card. I'm thinking of selling those. I don't know. I posted like a little teaser. And people were like, yeah, so I'm working on that. Also working on this short story. So this is like stuff that I've been working on for months. It's just I haven't made one of these videos, so don't want you to think, oh my God, he's sitting around like getting to do all this cool shit. No, it's not it's not it. Um I'm working on this short story. It's almost done. I just need to get some more people to read it. And it's based on, like I told you, I'm in a whole Harlem science phase. So it's based on a image that I did here. Procreate the digital image of this cool black couple. And so I kept looking at them. And so the thin man, shorter, is August. A tall, thick dude is Bishop. And they are a couple in Harlem Renaissance era. And I did this whole like futuristic thing where I have Nova, who is a conjurer, non-binary, um, conjures them into the future. And the short story is called It Took a Long Time. And it's thinking it's going to be, not I'm thinking, it's like an adult comic book. Is what I'm feeling. Took a long time, but it's like, because it's illustrated, but not like, comic book is not the word. Graphic short story. This is an illustrated short story reclaiming Black queer love. Written, illustrated by moi. And yeah, I'm super excited about this. Been working on this for a long time. Um, but yeah. So it's like, so it's a short story, but it ends up being like 40 something pages because, you know, it's a page of text and then a graphic and then text and then a graphic. And it weaves, of course, history and queerness and blackness and all the things that I love. Yeah, super excited about that. Any other art I'm working on? Not that I can. Let's see. I am doing some like the red dress run really inspired me. So I started imagining, started playing around with like fashion art. Um, did a couple of YouTube videos on like how do people do that. He may look familiar. Um, so yeah, clothes don't have a gender. So that's how I'm surviving. That's how I'm doing my thing. This is like, the big video, but I'll make some smaller stuff and I have like some progress stuff that you can see. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're interested in. Let me know what excites you. Let me know how you are keeping your sanity in the midst of everything happening right now. Yeah. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Rev Derek Terry. Thank you so much for all the Patreons who are holding it down. Tell your friends. I'm going to really beef up this work because we just need content. Like, and the future needs to know how we survive. So take care. God bless. Love you.